Hey, Terry.
Damn, those. Hey, those flued out girls are sure sexy.
I was looking at that. Oh my God. I decided we were going to come on today because I said people need some extra love because it's been rough.
It's been
Hasn't.
I like that.
Mhm.
I'm sure that you listened to the Peace Dealer who did the horoscope about the moon. Did you listen to it?
No, what did he say?
Oh, he just talked about the moon, this eclipse and the moon going full in Virgo. And he says, you're going to have, he sort of ended it by saying there are going to be idiots and then there are going to be stupid idiots. But it's a challenge this week. This next while is going to be a challenge. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's exactly the way it's been. It's just a challenge with all of the people and the reactions that people are having. It's just like, ooh boy.
It's funny too, because some of the people that are really ruffling your feathers, they actually think they're being nice.
Yeah.
They think they're being great. I just figured today people needed some extra loving. And even for me last night, I mean, I saw my phone has been blinking out. I'm thinking I have to charge it, and I'm like, oh no. And then it blinks back on and it's 70%. And then buttons lighting up on my laptop, and oh man, I was trying to just, you know how you're trying to send someone a photo just to upload it. And no matter how many times I recorded, I was like, you know what? I'm going to record screen to prove that this is happening. I hit that button 5 times. It didn't work. So then I took another screenshot, and then tried to attach it. Then all of a sudden it worked. Just stuff that's been so ridiculous. And this man yesterday was trying to help me with some things. And he kept asking me the same question. I was like, sir, let's get down to the bottom. Like, I need to know where you want me to go and what you want me to do on this computer. And I was just like, oh my God, is anybody else? Are you feeling like this? Are you like mind blown right now?
I am. Hey, just like this afternoon, I'm just, my electricity was off, but I didn't I did, but my clock is like 10 minutes slow. And it's like, when I go to the computer, it's like, what? Because the computer clock, was on time, but my other clock, the one that I don't have a lot of clocks in my house. I have one on the stove. And so that one was what I was going by. So,
I wonder if on retrograde, is this the day they let the fairies out to come play with your stuff? Wouldn't that be interesting? Like, oh, this is the day that the fairies get to play. Like, we're gonna go mess with your stuff right now.
yeah.
That'd be
Like,
neat.
okay, I guess, and part of it is like flowing with it is just like, instead of fighting it, just say, okay, well, go ahead, go have some fun.
Yeah.
Let the dogs out to play.
But I guess, like that forecast said, I don't know, has there been a time of introspection for you, like where you're feeling?
Oh, absolutely. I know that, and I'm going to introduce it, but and you're going to talk more about it. But I talked with our friend Patricia, who that we spoke with last week about the feng shui, and so she gave me just some hints what I could do, and for in my place, and I listened to it and I did it yesterday, and I swear that my life has taken like a sharp turn in the direction where I wanted to go, but it's almost like I was at 10 miles an hour and all of a sudden I'm cruising at 80 miles an hour.
That must explain that too. I've been feeling like really jacked in, pumped, and
yeah.
I don't know. I have not even really wanted to sleep and still getting up in the morning like, all right, I want to sleep, but I can't. I'm feeling really jacked in, and I'm feeling like I'll look down at 1 and it'll be 3 and then it'll be 7 all of a sudden. I'm like, oh no, the store's closed already. Where are you going? You're not doing anything. You're not doing anything right now. So yeah, it's really interesting how time is moving.
Right.
But That's why it's the best time to be using your time wisely. I just heard this man say, he said, replace time with the word life. And at that moment, check yourself what you're doing. Is this valuable? Is this an important thing for you to be doing with your life right now instead of your time right now? Like, are you wasting life right now?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really amazing.
But that's true. But I'm going to give you another theory. Sometimes we waste time in order for ourselves to catch up to where we are.
Well,
Sometimes
I
we
mean,
just
unless you're complaining, it depends on what you're doing. So the
well,
things
this
you're
is
doing to
true. If you're
occupy your
complaining,
time,
yeah. But
yeah,
sometimes you get, like sometimes I'll end up doing something like cleaning silverware, which I did last night till 11 o'clock at night, and it was like a waste of time, but it wasn't. I got something accomplished, but it was. But I was also thinking about things, and sometimes there's that time for contemplation, and that's not a waste of time.
right. And that is what we're going to talk about because that is not a waste of time. It's
Mm-hmm.
not. Um, that's kind of what happened this morning because cleaning your house is not a waste of time.
Yeah.
So, and so that's what it was like. Okay, it's getting warm. It's time for spring cleaning. And it was coming across my mind as I was cleaning. I was like, I'm not just cleaning because I am. I'm pulling things off of shelves and putting things in boxes and actually looking at pieces of paper, reading what's on it. And this is usually what catches people off guard or which slows them down why they really don't want to do deep cleanings because it will make you think what was the mindset on the day that you have this receipt? What was going on in your life when that letter came, or when you used this blanket, or when so and so gave you this present, and it slows you down in the aspect it makes you think about your life and what's important to you, what's valuable to you. Do you need it? Are these memories that you need to let go of or not? Like, of course, we're not thinking like, oh, I should let go of this memory. But that's the hard part about letting things go and throwing them away. And there's things where I start projects and maybe I might not ever really get back to that project, but you feel accountable. You feel
Right.
like gotta keep this because in 20 years from now, on a day, I'm gonna need another one of these. Remember how people, I know you know how they kept those tins from the microwave dinners, right? It was like,
Cookie
don't
tin.
waste anything. Don't waste anything. So I'm going to read this again because people might be forgetting about this full moon energy and the eclipse energy. So I'm going to read this out. It says, while today isn't an eclipse, wait a minute. Oh, isn't an eclipse. It's tonight or it was
It
last
was
night?
last night.
So while today isn't an eclipse, you're still in the energy of the eclipse
Yeah.
for at least
Yeah.
2 days. So we are still in the powerful aftermath of the March 13th full moon in Virgo, which is about cleansing, healing, bringing order to chaos. And the Virgo energy asks us to refine, organize, separate what our things are truly valuable to us and what no longer serves us. So this is a perfect alignment with the instinct to clean, not just physically but emotionally, because I really was starting to feel like, wow, I'm not just cleaning, I'm reorganizing my life. In
Mm-hmm.
my life, I'm deciding which direction I want to go. When I keep this piece of paper or that piece of paper, am I going here with it or am I going there with that? When I put this on the wall and I take this off the wall, what am I choosing? Am I choosing um, a new life and letting go of the past, or am I choosing to just kind of stay settling in the place that I am? Am I comfortable? But those are your personal things to decide. Now, with the Mercury and Venus in retrograde, revisiting the past is consistent, right? Um, to move forward. Though Mercury and Venus are not currently in retrograde, their upcoming cycles in the next months bring an energy of reevaluating how we communicate and process the shadow phases of these retrogrades. don't think this is right. Mercury retrograde, yeah, April.
Mm-hmm.
It's already here. Is it not?
Well, there's that shadow phase. It's coming, like
Oh God.
we had other retrogrades, right? So it's kind of hard to say just Mercury, but we're moving into the Mercury retrograde, right? What I don't know
Yeah.
what, yeah,
So it's
but
the eclipse and the full moon are happening at the same time. So
yeah,
I'm early on that, but I definitely feel something offbeat, off center. So the shadow begins soon. Expect mental shifts, discovering old ideas, and deciding. It's just going to be a long evaluation period because it's already started with the eclipse, but then in the full moon. But it's going to be deciding what's worth reviving, and you will feel drawn to old books, photos, journals, and plans. So, yeesh, it's going to be spring cleaning time, right? It's going to be
yeah,
rough.
yeah.
Venus retrograde, and people are just maybe being more introspective, not really wanting to talk too much, or maybe not wanting to come out of the shell because it's going to be a time to look at the old wounds too, not just the good things, but the bad times, and deciding what parts of yourself, especially now, if you're positioning yourself for your personal ascension and transition through this life to have a better life, is really evaluation. So the themes are going to be love and beauty. This will later make you rethink how your environment influences your relationships and your self-worth. And I was just taking a call a little bit ago, and that's what it was. The girl was listening to some motivational speaking, and she was just thinking, all my old friends weren't really friends to me. Like, we were around each other, but if I had been in a better circle, I wouldn't have made this mistake or that mistake. And like, well, now, they say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, but the next best time to plant a tree is today, because we can't go back and make up for that, right? So your reflections on why people hoard and collect, I was thinking to myself about why people end up hoarding, because they want to, it's not just a matter of control. That's usually what the psychological breakdown is, of you feel a lack of control, but you feel lost, or it's things are painful to let go of, or even look at and deal with. So instead we can shove those things into the back of the corner so we don't have to deal with it. So that's energetically and physically. So now when you move towards this spring cleaning, before you clean, set the intention of releasing all that no longer aligns with your higher self, and speak it out loud. Does this carry the energy that serves me? Because you can hold each item up. And I forget what that Asian lady, she used to do that, and she would say she would thank the item for its time serving her. And so when you donate or discard a thing, I am making space for what happens to support my next chapter. And I literally was thinking this, and I told my friend last night, I said, we can afford to get rid of these things because we're going to be doing better in life, and we'll have better things. You know what I mean? Like, you want to get rid of the broken clock, but you're going to hold on to the past and the broken clock. But if your life is better, then you might get you a new clock, a better version, an even spiffier one, right? So just sometimes we don't want to let things go, but that hand, we can't fill it with something new. But if we release it with the intention, that the next time I get this, it will support me. But cleaning and burning sage and incense, and to clear that space. I mean, even Patricia told me today about using lavender before you clean the space, and then afterwards doing something to cleanse the space. I mean, she's got so much amazing information. I just love it. I'm glad you got to meet her and spend time with her too. But there's things to think about as we are tidying up and trying to move forward, because
I just want to go back to the hoarding thing. I know that there's all kinds of other things, but I think a lot of people get stuck, and they're not really hoarders, but in a sense they are, is because they don't know what to do with things. They don't know how to react to something, like I've got, journals from 10 years ago. What do I do with this? Right? What do I do with my journals from 10 years ago? Am I going to go and sit there and read them? Do I want somebody else to read them? Do I look back at them, or do I just, tear them up or burn them? I think we have to make a decision on things, and sometimes deciding is not easy. And but we have to just find that space where we can, say, okay, these are my journals from 10 years ago. Do I need them? Yes, no, maybe, no. Get rid of it.
There becomes an emotional element too, because the word guilt, because I think, oh, this person bought this for me, and you feel guilt, and it's like, okay, and that's where we go into thanking it for its service, or
yes, exactly.
Even with your journal, maybe allowing yourself to say, oh, I have you with me at all times. I know that I'll be able to rely on you and reach, because what we think is we're going to forget everything. And that's why I don't know how many notes in my phone. Let's see the number of notes that if I got counted, 965 in that folder and 623 in another folder, because I'm afraid I'm going to forget something or lose something or not have something. And then I started thinking to myself, like, why are you doing this? Because at the moment you're going to look it up again, and you could just look this up at any time.
Exactly. And what, I know journals, you write in a journal, and this is what I said, this is how I felt today. After I've written it down, will I feel that same way in a week from now? No. Do I care what I felt like on March 13th, 2012? No, I don't care. Why do I want to look at my journal from that time? I don't.
And I'm almost thinking it's a tether as well to that time too.
Yeah, it's keeping,
like when we say fragments, like now we have this fragment. It's like, oh, okay, now I can release this fragment because I don't need that memory anymore. It's hard because I think people feel like they need to carry all the memories.
Yeah, and I know, like, we're from different generations and stuff, but me generationally, I keep a lot of stuff because you never know when you can use it. And guess what? I will tell you, this happens to me all the time. I finally decide to get rid of it, and 10 days later, it's like, oh my gosh, like, what is that? Is it a joke, a cruel joke from the universe? Like, like, oh, I had that for all that time. And so there's that fear. And I think part of a lot of it, like when it comes to paperwork and stuff, it's one thing to hang on to trinkets and stuff, but paperwork can sometimes be kind of daunting because, like, do I need this or don't I need it? How long do I keep this and how long don't I keep it? And yet it takes up space and it's holding you to that time. But, what happens if you need it? I don't have the answer to that. If anybody has the answer, let me know, because I got a closet full of paperwork that I don't know what to do with. How long do I hold on to it? I'd like to just, take it and light a match to it, but then it doesn't burn that easy. You got to take it and burn each piece. I know. I know. I got tons of it, especially if you run a business. So that's my challenge over the next season, into the spring and into the summer, is to get rid of all that paperwork that's no longer relevant.
Who's hanging out with us? You got to go back and watch because we said a lot. It's really good. Anyway, eat your mac and cheese. Eat your broccoli. Yeah, and then really just, it's a lot. We just really came on to say hi. I just wanted to take some time and just really see how people were feeling with the astro weather, because it just seems so busy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking deep breaths as if, I used to have this dream where I used to be running at top speed, almost holding my breath, not breathing hard, but holding my breath. And if I could say how my chest has been feeling, that's exactly how I feel. Like I'm just, every little thing seems like I'm taking some huge stride. So all the effort, and that's another thing Patricia talked about, is this year being the year of the snake and next year being the year of the horse. The horse is gallop. So every CG plant this year is going to be like amazing, the fruit, how quickly it will be like that. You heard that story before about that, what is it, the bamboo tree? Like how above ground, that bamboo tree, it looks like nothing. but for 5 years it grows beneath the surface, and then once it hits, the surface, now all of a sudden it grows up, it just shoots up super high. So I'm really excited for people. I really hope people take this time to take their eyes off of, she said this and he said that and he did this and and really just get into your own head, get into your own space, and just, what is it that you want to do? What dreams have you been putting aside? And what desires have you been ignoring? And figure some stuff out.
Yeah, and I'm gonna, from a philosophical, spiritual standpoint, if we are dismantling our old belief system, there's not only this physical part, but there's also that spiritual and mental part. Is like, what is it that I want to go forward with in me, in my life, in my thought processes? Am I going to hang on to an old belief that that, oh, well, this is what my grandparents believed in, whatever? Have we moved to the point where we can embrace something new and or view it from a higher perspective? Because it didn't get us anywhere. Those old belief systems got us to a point where we're just kind of like struggling now. Now we're being invited to take that quantum leap into higher understandings, new things, and opening up to a different understanding of the world around us and how it's created, instead of listening to that old parable, those old stories over and over again. And I know, what's happening right now is part of a cleansing process. And, whether you want to look at one world leader or another world leader, it was going to happen. So I think that it's happening in a way that people are going to be able to handle it. But then on the other hand, the people on the other side are saying, oh, this is horrible, horrible. But, it's inevitable that, if we're going to change, if we're going to move up, we have to change those old beliefs. And, maybe we're just being asked to look at, what do we believe and what do we know? Believing something and knowing something are two different things. We just believe something based on what we were told, or this, the stories that we know, or what's been instilled in us. But what do you know? What do you know for sure?
And what do you know, Joe? How do you do, Sue? Oh, it's very important. It's very important. Very important. Well, I'm gonna let Terri go with her life. I just called her. I said, Terri, do you have a minute?
Well, today I'm going to a full moon ceremony today with my sisters, and so we're going to embrace the letting go and opening up to the new season. We're on the verge of spring, so we are in the spring season.
I'm going to figure out what to do with myself tomorrow. I have a photo shoot tomorrow, and I have to figure out what to wear.
I think you should wear chartreuse.
That actually would, I attempted to buy 2 chartreuse dresses from the thrift store, and neither one of them fit. And it was going to be like a smoothie too. And I was like, woo, but it didn't quite work out. The lumps were just a little bit too big. Hey, Gladys, it's good to see you. I was thinking about you. Did you get a text message from me? I swear, I thought I sent it to both your numbers too. I don't know what it was about, but I was just text you maybe like earlier this week, maybe. Yeah, definitely thinking about you, your beautiful son, and your mom. So good to see you. Oh, and then too, I've been watching that show Love is Blind. So I definitely was thinking about you. That show was crazy. I was like, this is crazy. Anyway, I've been recovering. No. Well, I'm hoping you a good recovery then. Oh, beautiful.
Well, yes, recover well. Recover well.
Yeah. Go above and beyond to just allow yourself to be taken care of. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you checked in, and I'm hoping anybody liked, share, subscribe, and let us know how we did. I'm happy for you to be on the live too.
Yes, absolutely. You make the world a brighter place, Gladys.
Yeah, we just did a little quickie. Maybe I don't know how long your recovery is or what you need to do, but I don't know. Reach out when you are able, but at this point, take as much rest as you need. But yeah, reach out. Definitely reach out.
Yes.
All right, Terry, get them heels together. I think I got to make a trip to the world's where the place people don't like. It's not Disney, it's Walmart.
I was going to say, it must be Walmart.
But you can't escape it. Like, where am I going to go get an iron? I don't know. I really wouldn't even know where you would go to get an iron besides Walmart. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sometimes you run out of choices.
Yeah, I don't really know anything else. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's been great, Terry. Thank you for giving me a piece of your afternoon. And
you're
wait to hear.
Thank you. It's a pleasure always.
I can't wait to hear
your shoot tomorrow.
Thank you. I can't wait to hear more about the transition that you make or the space that you expand to once you get, done doing your
and likewise with you with that punctuate that movement. Absolutely.
Girl, I was thinking if my year was that good last year, and then if she can tell me something to make it better, oh my God,
Yeah, and then next year it'll be even. Whew, it's going to gallop right through us.
I can barely imagine. So I'm really excited. Partly to Christopher Pridham, it's like he even was like, get ready because you're at the big 5-0, you're at that mark, and this is your time. So I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited. So you all have a good evening.
Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week on Tuesday.
Okie dokie.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.